Hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is Stephanie, and in this video series, I will be breaking down the Individual with Disabilities Education Act. My goal with this video series is to help parents understand what is written in the law as well as their rights so that they may be better advocates for their children in the IEP process. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act ensures that children with disabilities have access to a free and appropriate public education. So, this includes special education and related services as needed to prepare them for a productive and engaging life outside of school. In this module, we'll talk about Part A, which covers the general provisions of the law. So, starting off with the main purposes of this act, as we already talked about, the main purpose is to ensure that children with disabilities have access to a free and appropriate public education. You may hear this referred to as FAPE. According to the law, special education and related services to meet the individual needs of each child should be emphasized. So, really, this goes to say that um, each child is unique and has individual needs, which is the I in the IEP process. This act also protects the rights of children with disabilities and the rights of their parents. It is intended to assist all agencies involved in providing FAPE. So includes agencies at the local, state, and federal level. IDEA also provides assistance and guidance with implementation of early intervention services. Early intervention targets kids 0 to 3, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming video. The law overall was really written with all parties in mind, so it includes provisions to ensure that educators and parents have the tools that they need to help improve educational results of children with disabilities as well. And finally, there are provisions designed to assess and assure the effectiveness of efforts to properly educate children with disabilities. As we know, things are changing and constantly evolving, so that piece of this law really helps ensure that we are keeping up with the times and doing our best to educate children with disabilities in the most effective way. The rest of Part A goes through definitions. I've pulled out the ones that I feel like are going to be most important to parents to understand, but know that there are more in the law itself if you wish to go look at that. So bear with me. I know these slides are a little bit text heavy. I wanted to make sure that you were able to pause and take notes or take a screenshot if you would like. So we'll start off with an assistive technology device, which is any item, piece of equipment, or product system, could be off the shelf, modified, or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of a child with disabilities. It's important to note here that this doesn't apply to any surgically implanted medical device. An assistive technology service, then, is any service that directly relates to the selection, acquisition, or use of that assistive technology device, covers everything from a functional evaluation to determine the needs of the child, to selecting and adapting the device for the individual child, as well as training. So the training and technical assistance is provided not only for the child using the device, but also for their families, professionals, and anybody else involved in providing services to the child, or those that are involved in major life functions. You'll notice if you look at the law that there are a lot of vague terms. So it doesn't really define what major life functions consist of. The next one is Educational Service Agency. This refers to the regional multi-service agency that is involved in developing, managing, and providing service programs to local educational agencies or administrative agencies. Equipment is the next one. This refers to anything necessary to provide FAPE. Could be the machinery, utilities, built-in equipment, as well as necessary enclosures, things like audio-visual instructional materials, telecommunications, sensory devices, etc. FAPE then refers to special education and related services that are provided at public expense, meet the standards of the state educational agency, include an appropriate preschool, elementary, or secondary school, are provided in conformity with the child's individual education plan or IEP. IEP is another thing that we'll focus on in an upcoming video. A parent, the term parent, refers to anybody that's taking care of the child and has the decision-making power. So it could be their natural, adoptive, or foster parent, a guardian, or somebody else that they're living with, somebody like a grandparent, step-parent, or other relative. Related services refers to all of the services that a child may be receiving to improve FAPE, could include transportation, speech language pathology and audiology services, interpreting services, psychological services, physical therapy, occupational therapy, therapeutic recreation, social work services, school nurse services, rehabilitative counseling, orientation and mobility services, as well as medical services. Under the law, medical services are only provided for diagnostic and evaluation purposes, does not cover any sort of medical treatment. Special education refers to the specially designed instruction at no cost to the parents to meet the unique needs of a child with a disability. So this covers instruction that's provided in a variety of settings, like the classroom, the home, hospitals, institutions, and other places, and covers physical education as well. The next one is supplementary aids and services. So this refers to aids, services, and other supports that are provided in regular education classes or other education-related settings to enable children with disabilities to be educated with non-disabled children to the maximum extent appropriate. You'll notice as we work through Part B in subsequent videos that one of the main principles of FAPE is least restrictive environment. This term is used to describe the most natural setting in which your children can engage and learn. In a general education group with non-disabled peers is the least restrictive overall, but it's not always the most appropriate for every child or delivery of every type of service. The last term we'll talk about is transition services. So throughout a child's academic career, there are a lot of transitions. There's transitions into and out of preschool, elementary school, middle school, and high school. Transition services itself refers to a coordinated set of activities for a child with a disability that is designed to be within a results-oriented process focused on improving academic and functional achievement to facilitate a child's movement from school to post-school activities. So this could look like many, many different things. They could go on to go to post-secondary education, vocational education, integrated employment, continuing in adult services, independent living, or community participations. So services should really take into account an individual's unique strengths, preferences, and interests. Transition services includes instruction, related services, community experiences, and development and employment of other post-school adult living objectives, and when appropriate, the acquisition of daily living skills and functional vocational evaluation. So really, this is a very long-winded way to say that children with disabilities are entitled to receive help and support to transition into life beyond school, right? So whether that means they want to go to college or they want to jump in the workforce, whatever that looks like, the schools are required to provide all of the supports necessary to help them be successful in that endeavor. So this is just referencing the act itself. Thank you for tuning in to Part A, and stay tuned for the following videos on Part B.